Have you ever wondered why, out of nowhere, a certain person floods your mind? Their name, their face, their energy, appearing without warning, as if they're reaching for you in silence. Carl Jung often spoke of the collective unconscious, a vast invisible web where every soul is deeply connected beyond physical reality. According to his psychology, what we dismiss as coincidence is often the language of the universe, a language of signs, synchronicities, and energies moving between souls. When someone misses you deeply, their emotional energy doesn't vanish into the void. It travels. It ripples across the unseen fabric of existence. Their thoughts, their longing, their silent whispers, all of it begins to shape your reality in subtle, undeniable ways. You begin to feel it, through sudden thoughts, unexpected emotions, mysterious patterns, and the quiet pull of something, or someone, you cannot explain. And in this speech I will guide you to understand how the universe communicates this, how it reveals, through 12 undeniable signs, that someone is missing you more than you know. There's something profoundly mysterious about the way human beings are connected. Beneath all the noise of the world, beyond the limits of language, distance, and time, there is an invisible thread that links us to certain people. A thread woven not with hands, but with energy, emotion, memory, and intention. And when someone misses you, truly, deeply, the universe doesn't stay silent. It starts to echo that energy back to you, whispering through signs, feelings, and subtle shifts in your reality. You may not see it, but you certainly feel it. When we think of someone, we're not just recalling a memory, we're sending out energy toward them. Thought itself is energy, emotion is energy, and when it is charged with intensity, like longing, love, or desire, the frequency becomes powerful enough to ripple through the invisible fabric of the universe. You might not realize it, but the emotional waves you send or receive don't just disappear into the void, they travel, they connect, they manifest. This is why sometimes, out of nowhere, you think of someone you haven't spoken to in months or years. Their face, their voice, their energy suddenly floods your mind, as if they're standing right beside you. You might shrug it off as coincidence, but the truth is, their energy has reached you. It's an energetic pull, a magnetic signal sent across the unseen dimensions that connect every living soul. You don't need to be in the same room, city, or even country. The bond transcends physical boundaries. People often underestimate how strong this unseen communication really is. When someone misses you, their thoughts are not merely silent whispers trapped in their own mind. Those thoughts, loaded with emotion, radiate outward. And because the universe is a mirror of energy, it reflects that vibration back in subtle but undeniable ways. Have you ever been going about your day, when suddenly a heavy wave of emotion rises within you, or you hear a song that instantly reminds you of someone, and for reasons you can't explain, your heart tightens? This isn't random. This is the universe nudging you. It's energy responding to energy. It's the echo of someone's longing finding its way to you. This is the sacred law of interconnectedness that so many dismiss in favor of logic. But anyone who has truly paid attention to the rhythms of life, to the silent patterns beneath the surface, knows that something much deeper is always at play. It's the same reason why, in moments of extreme emotion, people sense each other instinctively. A mother knows when her child is in pain, even if they're miles apart. Two lovers, separated by distance, feel sudden waves of missing each other at the exact same moment. This isn't just poetic. This is energy in motion. This is the unspoken dialogue of the soul. And yet, we're often taught to ignore these signals, to brush them off as coincidence, as overthinking, as imagination. But the universe doesn't speak in words. It speaks in energy, in synchronicity, in intuition. The moment you become sensitive to this language, you start realizing that nothing is random. The sudden thoughts of someone, the appearance of their name, the feeling that someone is thinking of you. These are not accidents. These are answers. They are the universe translating the frequency of someone's longing directly into your awareness. Have you ever felt a certain restlessness at random? A sensation that something is off or incomplete, like a tug at your spirit? Often that's the subtle pull of an energetic bond reactivating. Someone, somewhere, is focusing on you. Whether consciously or subconsciously, their energy is reaching for yours. Their memories, their thoughts, their unresolved feelings. All of it forms a current that travels beyond the confines of the physical world, and the universe, in its infinite intelligence, amplifies that current, allowing you to sense it in ways you may not fully understand, but undeniably feel. The truth is, our energy signatures are like fingerprints, unique but forever imprinted onto the people we've loved, touched, or formed connections with. Even if time has passed, even if words were left unsaid, even if the roads have diverged, energy doesn't forget. It lingers, it flows, it returns. So when someone misses you deeply, you might notice it as a gentle pull in your heart space, or a sudden sense of comfort as if you are being embraced by something unseen, or perhaps as a sharp wave of nostalgia, catching you off guard in the middle of an ordinary day. The universe works through feelings because feelings are the language of the soul. It speaks not to your ears, but to your being. And sometimes, when the connection is strong, that person will appear in your dreams, or you'll stumble upon an old message, a photograph, or a memory that feels strangely alive, as though it was placed before you on purpose. And perhaps it was, because when someone's energy holds onto you, the universe begins moving pieces around you to reflect that invisible truth. In those moments, pause, tune in, trust what you feel, because the invisible is often more real than the visible. And when the universe starts whispering, it's because someone, somewhere, is thinking of you, more than you know. Have you ever found yourself sitting quietly, fully immersed in something mundane, when suddenly a name, a face, or a memory strikes your mind like a gentle wave from nowhere? No warning, no logical reason, just an overwhelming presence of someone in your thoughts. And it's not fleeting, it lingers, pulling at your focus, as if that person is sitting right next to you, whispering without words. You try to shake it off, distract yourself, but the thought persists, almost as though it has a life of its own. That is not coincidence. That is energy in motion. That is the universe responding to the silent cry of someone who misses you. Thoughts are not isolated. They are pulses of energy. When someone thinks of you with intensity, especially when that thought is charged with emotions like longing, regret, or love, those thoughts take shape in the energetic field. They vibrate beyond their own mind and begin rippling outward. And because we are all energetically connected through a vast, invisible web, those ripples find their way to you. You feel them, not because you are imagining, but because your subconscious is designed to pick up on them. The same way you feel warmth from the sun, even though you cannot touch it directly, you feel these energetic waves even though they originate from someone unseen. It often starts subtly, a sudden flash of their smile, a memory you hadn't thought about in years. A question arises in your mind. Why am I thinking about them now? And then, as if the universe itself conspires to make the message louder, you begin to notice other confirmations. A song plays, a phrase they used to say pops up in conversation, or their name appears unexpectedly somewhere. The initial thought was the first whisper. Everything else that follows is the universe amplifying that signal. But it's not only mental impressions that carry this energy. Emotion travels even faster, even deeper. Have you ever felt sudden waves of sadness, comfort, heaviness, or even joy that seem to appear from nowhere? One moment you're fine, and the next there's an ache in your chest, a lump in your throat, or an undeniable warmth spreading over you. This is emotional energy crossing the invisible boundary between two people. When someone misses you, especially when they're consumed by it, their emotional state radiates beyond them, and because your energetic field is linked to theirs, even if unconsciously, you begin to pick it up as your own. People often underestimate the power of emotional waves. We're taught to dismiss feelings without logical explanations, to brush them off as mood swings or random states of mind. But those who are in tune with themselves, who listen carefully to the shifts within, understand that feelings are not always self-generated. Sometimes they are messages. Sometimes they are echoes. Sometimes they are evidence that someone, somewhere, is sitting under the same sky, thinking about you so deeply that it stirs the very fabric of the universe. This is especially strong between souls who have shared significant emotional experiences. Bonds created through love, friendship, or even unresolved pain become pathways through which energy continues to flow, even long after the physical connection fades. You may have noticed this with someone you were once close to. Days, weeks, even months can pass without a single thought of them, but then, suddenly, they flood your mind with such intensity that it almost feels like they're physically present again. You might wonder, why now? And the truth is, in that very moment, they are likely thinking of you too. Their emotional energy is so focused, so potent, that it reaches you like an unseen hand brushing against your heart. It's not always conscious on their part. Sometimes people aren't even aware of how deeply they're missing someone. It might be buried beneath the surface, triggered by a place, a scent, a conversation, but the energy doesn't need permission to move. It doesn't wait for conscious acknowledgement. It simply flows where the bond was created. And then there are moments when the connection is so strong, it disrupts your emotional state completely. You may feel restless, unable to focus, or inexplicably emotional. You may find yourself wanting to reach out without even knowing why. That pull, that tug in your chest, is the universe trying to balance the energy that's being directed toward you. You are being emotionally summoned, not by force, but by the invisible whisper of someone's longing. It's important to pay attention to the nature of these sudden emotional waves. If the feeling is comforting, it often means someone misses you with love, warmth, and good intentions. If it feels heavy or anxious, it may stem from unresolved emotions, regret, sadness, or worry. Either way, the universe acts as a conduit for emotional truth. It delivers these subtle packages of feeling directly to your awareness, bypassing words, logic, and distance. And yet, most people ignore it. They rationalize it, dismiss it, or numb themselves to it. But for those willing to listen, for those who choose to lean into the unexplainable, these moments become sacred. They become reminders that we are never as disconnected as we think. That someone, somewhere, is holding your energy close to their heart, even in silence. So the next time a sudden wave of thought or feeling crashes over you, don't brush it away. Pause. Pay attention. Because the universe doesn't shout, it whispers. And that whisper may just be the echo of someone who misses you, more deeply than words could ever express. It is often in the smallest, most seemingly insignificant details where the universe reveals its presence. When someone misses you deeply, it isn't always through grand gestures of fate, but rather through the quiet repetition of patterns, the subtle alignments that feel too precise to be random. These are the whispers of synchronicity, the mysterious unfolding of moments where reality itself bends to reflect the energy of someone thinking about you. And yet, most walk past these signs without noticing, dismissing them as coincidences, never realizing that the universe has its own way of confirming unseen connections. You may have experienced this more than once, going about your day, and suddenly you hear their name. Not once, but multiple times, in different places, on the radio, in a conversation nearby, scrolling online. At first, you shake it off, but it keeps happening. Then perhaps you glance at the clock and notice repeating numbers. 11:11, 2:22, 3:33. Numbers you weren't even paying attention to before now seem to follow you everywhere. A strange pattern emerges, one you can't explain but also can't ignore. And somewhere deep inside, a quiet knowing stirs. This means something. These are not accidents. They are reflections of energetic alignment. When someone focuses their thoughts on you with emotion, whether it's longing, love, or even unresolved feelings, those thoughts ripple outward. The universe, being a living mirror of energy, starts shaping patterns around you that reflect that frequency. And it's often through repetition that the message grows louder. Patterns are the universe's language of confirmation. You might walk into a cafe and suddenly a song starts playing, a song that instantly transports you back to a moment you shared with that person. It's not just the memory that strikes you, but the timing. Why this song? Why now? As you try to dismiss it as random, your phone buzzes with a notification, and the first thing you see is something connected to them. Their name, a post, a memory from years ago. These stacking moments aren't mere chance. They are the universe pulling back the veil, revealing that someone's thoughts are reaching for you beyond the limits of distance. And it doesn't end with names or songs. Sometimes the sign is a repeated symbol. Maybe you keep seeing their initials, or a place associated with them shows up unexpectedly in conversations or advertisements. Or perhaps it's a particular phrase, something they used to say, echoing back to you through other people's words. The universe has an infinite toolbox of symbols, and when the energy between two people intensifies, it starts stitching those symbols directly into your path. There are moments when the synchronicity becomes so persistent that it almost feels as though reality itself is bending. You might be thinking of someone, and right then they call or message. Or someone you haven't thought about in months floods your mind repeatedly, and within days, you encounter something tied to them so directly it's impossible to ignore. These are not mere thoughts crossing paths. They are the result of energy being exchanged in the invisible realm. Their thoughts summon you, and your awareness becomes tuned to the frequencies they're sending. And it works both ways. Sometimes you are the sender. When you think deeply of someone, when your mind lingers on them with intensity, you may notice them appearing in your reality more often. Their name surfaces, reminders of them materialize, or even mutual friends mention them out of the blue. This is the energetic feedback loop in action. Thoughts don't vanish, they become part of the field of reality, rearranging coincidences into meaningful patterns that call attention to the unseen bond. What's most profound is how these synchronicities often arrive when words have failed, when communication has been lost, or when distance seems insurmountable. The universe steps in where human effort ends, delivering its subtle, undeniable nudges. And the more emotionally charged the thought, the stronger the yearning, the deeper the missing, the louder the signs become. And yet many ignore them. They chalk them up to randomness, not realizing that randomness has a rhythm, that behind what seems accidental is often the precise alignment of energy responding to the unspoken emotions we send out into the cosmos. It's not magic, it's not fantasy, it's the natural law of energetic resonance. What you send out, especially when fueled by emotion, finds a way to come back. And when someone is sending out the energy of longing for you, the universe doesn't let it go unnoticed. It's in these moments, when the same number keeps flashing, when a song reappears at just the right time, when someone mentions their name in passing, that you are being asked to pause, to recognize that there is something unfolding beneath the surface. A hidden conversation is happening between your soul and theirs, with the universe acting as the translator. Whether they are consciously aware of it or not, their energy is reaching toward yours. The signs are the proof. And perhaps what matters most is not just noticing the signs, but understanding what they mean. They are invitations to reflect, to listen inwardly, to ask yourself why this person's energy is present in your life right now. Is there something unresolved? Is there something still alive between you? Is there a message waiting to be heard? Because when synchronicities begin to appear, it's never random. It's the universe gently placing a mirror in front of you, showing that someone, somewhere, holds you in their thoughts and their heart. There are moments when the presence of someone who is thinking of you doesn't come in the form of a thought or a memory, but arrives through something far more primal, something you feel, something that moves through your body like a soft whisper or an invisible hand. You can't explain it logically. There is no tangible evidence, no conversation, no visible sign. And yet, deep within your being, you know someone is reaching out to you. Not through words, not through technology, but through the language of energy itself. The human body is not just flesh and bone. It is a finely tuned instrument of sensation, capable of picking up frequencies that exist far beyond the physical senses. It is through this energetic sensitivity that we sometimes feel what cannot be spoken, a sudden chill that isn't from the weather, a warmth that blooms in your chest like sunlight, even though nothing around you has changed. An invisible touch on your shoulder, a light pressure on your back, or the gentle feeling of someone sitting beside you, though the room is empty. It is in these quiet, inexplicable moments that the universe whispers the presence of someone who misses you. It often happens when you are least expecting it. You may be walking, working, or sitting in silence when, without warning, a sudden shiver runs through your spine, or perhaps a wave of goosebumps spreads over your skin for no apparent reason. It's not fear, it's not cold, it's a subtle yet unmistakable signal. The presence of energy directed toward you, an echo of someone's thoughts, someone's emotions, someone's longing making its way into your physical awareness. This isn't imagination. Energy transcends physical barriers. Just as we can feel the warmth of the sun without touching it, we can feel the energetic presence of someone thinking about us, even when they are miles away. The body picks it up before the mind understands it. The hairs stand on end. A sudden tingling rises in your arms. Or you might feel as though the air in the room has shifted, become heavier, thicker, or strangely comforting, like an unseen embrace surrounding you. And then there are moments when the feeling is so familiar that it brings comfort rather than surprise. You might be lying in bed and a sudden warmth fills your heart, a peaceful heaviness, like the feeling of being held, even when there is no one physically there. It's not your imagination playing tricks, it's energy. It's the residue of someone's deep affection, someone's longing, someone's soul reaching for yours in silence. These sensations often come paired with an inner knowing, an intuitive certainty that someone is thinking of you right now. You can't explain how you know, you just know. And no matter how the logical mind tries to dismiss it, that feeling persists because it isn't born from thought, it's born from the direct experience of energy in motion. People often experience this when there is a strong emotional bond, especially with someone they share a deep history with. Love, friendship, unresolved emotions. These connections form energetic pathways that remain open regardless of time or distance. And when one person sends out waves of missing, of thinking, of remembering, those waves move along the invisible threads that tie two souls together. The body becomes the receiver, the sensations become the message. Even science acknowledges that everything is energy. The human heart emits an electromagnetic field measurable several feet away from the body. Now imagine what happens when thoughts and emotions, pure forms of energy, are directed towards someone with great intensity. That energy does not simply stay locked within the sender. It expands, it radiates outward. And if the receiver is sensitive enough, they feel it, not just emotionally, but physically. Sometimes it manifests as sudden fatigue, as though your body has absorbed the weight of someone else's longing. Other times it feels like a burst of energy, a sudden uplift, a feeling of being loved, held or remembered, even without a word being spoken. And there are those undeniable moments when you swear you felt a hand brush against you, a soft touch that was never there, yet deep in your soul, you know it was real. These sensations are not accidents. They are the universe's way of allowing energy to transcend the limits of form. They are confirmations that no matter the distance, no matter how long it has been since you last spoke or saw one another, the bond remains alive in the energetic realm. And when someone misses you, truly, deeply, that energy searches for you. It finds its way to you, not through the noise of the world, but through the silence where your spirit listens. The beauty of this is that it bypasses all the barriers humans create. It doesn't need technology. It doesn't need permission. It doesn't care about pride, fear, or distance. When someone's heart calls out to yours, the universe answers through sensation, through subtle shifts in energy, through feelings so real they cannot be ignored. So the next time your body reacts in a way you can't quite explain, when a sudden warmth, a tingle, or an unseen presence makes itself known, don't rush to dismiss it. Don't rationalize it away. Instead, pause. Close your eyes. Feel it fully. Because that is the language of the universe. That is how it tells you someone, somewhere, is missing you more than you could ever know. There is a reason why dreams have always been considered sacred, mysterious, and powerful throughout human history. Because it is in our dreams where the conscious mind steps aside, where the noise of the external world fades away, and the deeper layers of our soul come alive in that space, unbound by time, distance, or physical limitations. The invisible energies that connect two people have the freedom to move, to communicate, to reach across the boundaries that our waking minds so often struggle to cross. And when someone misses you deeply, it is often through your dreams that their presence slips in, quietly, unmistakably. It's a phenomenon many have experienced but few fully understand. You fall asleep without a single thought of someone, yet, in the stillness of the night, there they are. Not as a memory, not as a distant image, but vivid, alive, almost as if they've stepped right into the space between worlds to be with you. You may talk, you may walk together, you may simply sit in silence, feeling their presence so strongly that when you awaken, the sensation lingers like a fading perfume in the air. And as your eyes open, a question echoes in your mind. Why them? And why now? What most don't realize is that dreams are not just fragments of imagination. They are portals. When the veil of consciousness lifts, your soul becomes more receptive, more attuned to the subtle frequencies that are drowned out during the day. And when someone's heart holds you in longing, when their thoughts carry the weight of missing you, that energy seeks a way to reach you, and the dream state becomes the perfect channel. It's not unusual for people to dismiss these dreams at first. They try to write them off as random, as coincidence. But the truth is, there's a profound difference between an ordinary dream and one that feels like a visitation. You know it the moment you wake. It's clearer, it's heavier. It carries an emotional texture that stays with you, sometimes for days. You can remember the words spoken, the feeling of their touch, the look in their eyes. You can remember how it felt to be near them again. Because in that space, it wasn't just a dream. It was an encounter. Their energy crossed the barrier, and your soul recognized it. These dream visitations often happen when someone is thinking of you, not just fleetingly, but with a deep emotional charge. It could be love, regret, longing, or even unresolved pain. Whatever the feeling, when it becomes strong enough, it creates a ripple in the energetic field that finds its way to you in the one place where logic cannot block it, in your sleep. There are no distractions in that realm, no barriers of ego, pride, or circumstance, only energy, only intention, only connection. There are times when the dream is soft, a simple image of them smiling, a gentle conversation, the comfort of their presence without words. Other times it feels more intense. Arguments that never got resolved in waking life replay in the dreamscape. Words left unsaid finally find a voice. Tears that were never shed flow freely in that sacred space between worlds. These are not accidental. They are the soul's way of clearing, of reconnecting, of finding peace where the physical world has failed to offer closure or understanding. And sometimes the person who misses you may not even be fully conscious of it. They may not realize how often their mind drifts back to you, how much their heart still holds you close. But the energy doesn't lie. Whether they admit it to themselves or not, the truth of their feelings is carried in their subconscious, and it seeks expression. It knocks on the door of your dreams, waiting for you to notice. And if you are open, if your soul is listening, you will feel it as real as anything you've ever touched. This is why, upon waking from such dreams, there is often a heaviness, a longing, or a deep sense of knowing that something beyond the ordinary has just happened. Some people even wake in tears, or with a heart so full it feels like it might burst, because for a few hours, in the quiet space between worlds, distance did not exist. Time did not exist. Only the connection existed, and the universe allowed that invisible thread between two souls to tighten, to become visible, if only for a moment. What's even more beautiful is how these dream connections often arrive right when you need them most, perhaps in moments of loneliness, confusion, or emotional struggle. Or perhaps when you've just started to forget, when you've convinced yourself that the bond is gone, that it no longer exists, and then, in the middle of the night, their presence returns, not to haunt, but to remind you that energy doesn't disappear. That connection doesn't simply dissolve because life has shifted, that someone, somewhere, still carries you in their thoughts, still feels the quiet ache of missing you. And so, the next time you wake from a dream that feels too vivid, too emotional, too real to be dismissed, trust it. Don't brush it away. Sit with it. Let it remind you that the bonds we form in this life do not end at the edges of physical reality. They live on in the spaces we cannot see, but can always feel. Because when someone misses you with the quiet intensity of the soul, the universe does not stay silent. It finds its way to you, even in your dreams. There is something profoundly mysterious about the way emotions travel, how they stretch beyond the boundaries of physical presence and become echoes that ripple through the universe. You've likely felt it before without even realizing what it was. A sudden heaviness in your chest, a wave of sadness out of nowhere, an unexpected surge of warmth, or a fleeting sense of calm that seems to envelop you without explanation. These are not just random shifts in mood. These are emotional echoes, vibrations carried across the invisible threads that connect one soul to another. And when someone misses you deeply, the universe allows those emotional waves to find you, to reach you, quietly but unmistakably. It's often subtle at first, a feeling that something is different. You might be walking through your day, doing something entirely mundane, when a strange weight settles over you. Not a physical weight, but an emotional one. Your mind searches for reasons. Nothing seems out of place. Nothing happened to trigger it. Yet the feeling persists, as though it belongs to someone else. But it's sitting in your own heart. That is the moment when the universe is allowing you to feel the energetic signature of someone thinking about you, someone holding you quietly in their longing. This is not imagination. It is not fantasy. Energy is real. Emotions are real forces that do not remain locked inside the body. When someone misses you, that emotion, whether it's sadness, love, regret, or yearning, doesn't just stay with them. It moves. It expands. It travels into the greater field of energy that connects all things. And when that emotion is focused enough, strong enough, it begins to vibrate toward the person it's aimed at. It reaches you like a whisper in your chest, a feeling you cannot shake, no matter how much your rational mind tries to explain it away. There are moments when this emotional echo is unmistakable. A sudden longing grips you, not rooted in any recent memory or event, but simply there, present, heavy, real. Or sometimes it's the opposite, a wave of warmth, a sense of being loved, safe, held, without anyone around. It's almost as if someone's soul has reached out to wrap itself around yours, bridging the silence with nothing but feeling, and though you cannot see it, you feel it. Deeply. This is especially true when the emotional connection between two people has been strong. Bonds created through love, deep friendship, or even unresolved pain never truly dissolve. The emotional energy continues to linger in the spaces where words and physical presence once lived. And when one person sends out the signal of missing, of thinking, of longing, the universe responds by letting the other person feel the echo of that energy. What's fascinating is how the intensity of the emotion determines how clearly it is received. A passing thought may create a gentle tug, a small shift in mood, something you could easily overlook. But when the emotion is powerful, when someone misses you with the weight of their entire heart, that echo hits differently. It's sharper, deeper, sometimes even overwhelming. It pulls at your focus. It fills your mind with thoughts of them, even if you haven't considered them in weeks or months. The feeling is so real, so alive, that you are forced to pause and wonder where it came from. And perhaps the most haunting part of it is that it can arrive in the quietest moments. Late at night, when the world is still. During the slow hours of the afternoon, or right in the middle of laughter, when everything feels fine on the surface, and yet suddenly a shadow of longing slips into your chest, reminding you that energy knows no boundaries, that someone, somewhere, is thinking of you so intensely that their feelings have crossed the invisible lines of distance and time to land directly in your emotional field. Sometimes it feels like an ache, other times like comfort. Sometimes it's a restlessness you cannot explain, as if your